legit had
You were
heart
all caps
palpitations.
in the
I
tape.
had Jacob feel my heart,
We
and it
stopped
was damn near about to
breathing.
beat out of my chest.
Communication, I've found, is a little more frustrating with the corporate world, and I think that just comes from the mass amount of people and chain of command and all of that stuff.
And so Caleb Biddles and I go in the bathroom to get this cat, and it literally is scaling the shower curtains, holding onto the shower curtains up into the... We were like, this cat is freaking insane.
Freaking monkey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable, the podcast where we answer your veterinary-related questions while having some fun along the way. If you enjoyed today's episode or a previous episode, be sure to leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice. And if you have any feedback to offer to improve the Veterinary Roundtable, let us know. I forgot my glasses. Sorry.
You did really good.
I know. I
Yeah,
think because
you
I
did.
mostly have it
That was
memorized.
Okay,
Wow.
so let's make her read the
Thank
rest
you.
of the
I would have
itinerary.
not
Thank
even
you.
known. That was pretty good.
Okay.
All righty,
It's the candy.
reviews. We're going up. Just
Up,
kidding. On Spotify, we're not. Last week it was 267, and we're still there. On Apple, last week we were at 111. Now we're at 113.
We'll take it.
Slowly climbing. Thank
And
you.
all
I'm
reviews
sorry. I'm
count,
still laughing
no matter
about our
how many
conversation before.
stars.
What?
Have
All
you?
reviews count.
All reviews.
Yeah.
They count towards
Have
the
you
number.
noticed how Apple Podcasts has slowed down tremendously?
Because the pie
We hit our
video
goal.
is coming soon.
They're getting disappointed.
soon.
I would
We
be.
need to get on
Listen, we
that.
did disappoint. The honking car video was good.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
but
really
the
good.
one that like we've been hyping up for the 100 views, we haven't done yet.
Well, it
It's
is.
fall break right now, right?
I don't know.
You
I
don't
thought I'm
get
going
in
to school there.
college.
We're going
Purdue.
to. We're going
Not
to go. It is in the next day off. Your day off. The next day off. Some day
Tomorrow?
off. No, I mean like the next day off. I don't know.
Following Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Get to it, ladies.
We
I
didn't
know.
get to it.
we got to get down there.
Up.
Up.
Up there.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like every time we've been trying to link up with Molly and she's in Tennessee and Harrison's like, oh, let's go up there. Or she needs to go down or whatever. I'm like, no.
Devin doesn't like.
I
know
don't.
the
The
inaccurate
misdirection.
terminology of misdirections. Oh, well, we do appreciate the reviews, so
Yes,
continue
thank you.
to
Yeah, because we'll just keep setting goals and then doing something about it.
yes
12 months later.
in a timely
Stop that.
fashion.
We'll get there.
I
We'll
know
get
we
there.
are going to get there. Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Well, we hit that one on the head. All right.
but we have other really cool episodes
Yes.
with all these
If you
guests.
like education,
We have really good
You looked at me and I-
informative
like I lost
reviews.
listen. If you want, I can't. Can you do it? Where
Someone else.
Some educational.
Educational,
Timely.
informative, great reviews from
Fun.
our profession where we have fun too.
Occasionally,
Maybe drink a beer. Cheers. Okay. Anyway,
But you learn a lot.
Dr. Jorn Whitley was our most recent one. He was the chiropractor who does human and animal chiropractic work. And then we had Dr. Danielle Conway, which was all about nutrition, which I still go back to when I talk to my clients, which is great. Gia Savachi, all about dog training, which is still so fascinating. Dr. Moira Macaulay.
Mariah.
Mhm.
Mariah, what did I
Mhm.
say?
Mora.
Mora. Sorry, Mariah
She would go by
Macaulay.
Mora too.
Mentorships
Yeah.
and Fear
She was
Free and more.
Check
We
them
have more.
out.
Check
Yeah.
them
Yep.
out.
We've been doing this
At
for a while. There's a lot.
The
There's a
Veterinary Roundtable
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
And those guys have a lot of good information and
I know.
opinions.
Mm-hmm.
We're having more
So-
coming up too. I
Mhm.
really enjoy the guest podcasts.
I do too.
Mhm.
I
I
want
hope
to
our
have someone
listeners
in
always
person.
Interesting.
I always learn something.
Yeah, in person we don't get. It's been a while.
We've done
we had
one.
Dr. Cross
Yeah,
and
and-
Dr. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Tartar Shield.
Oh yeah, Tartar
Mhm.
Shield. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of them. Okay. All right.
We have some exciting announcements coming out on our social media coming up too. So
One posted today. If you do not follow us, go check it out.
that was
Because it's exciting.
was that on? Do we repost
That
it
was
on ours?
All Star.
Okay.
Oh,
Check
was it
out
All
All
Star?
Stars too, but the Vet Roundtable reposted it.
Yeah.
So you should have seen it if you follow us.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Because it's gonna
more
be
exciting
fun.
things.
We had a film day.
Yeah, it was fun. We'll
You'll
get
see
there.
lots
We'll
more
talk about that
footage
too.
from
Okay, I'm Dr. Emily King.
I'm Courtney Allen.
I'm Devin Fortune.
I'm Dr. Ashlyn Duckwall.
Welcome.
Alrighty.
Welcome to the
Welcome,
Roundtable.
welcome.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Tits and peaks.
Tits and peaks. Shall we share our peak?
Let's, because we have a group peak.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
who
think I
wants
can
to say
contain the excitement, so I think someone more composed should
Oh
share.
no, this is your.
Yeah,
this is
It's
you
not
are.
my thing.
It totally is.
You're, I think,
But-
the most excited.
Yes.
Me
We
too.
also announced that the guest speaker at VMX is
Wait for
Patrick. Patrick Dempsey, the sexiest man alive. That was time, people, not me.
So you don't believe in that? You don't think
Well,
so?
I do, but
Okay.
that was them saying it, not me.
I'm gonna ask him what his skincare routine is.
You
and
should.
His hair care
And his
routine.
hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
His wife is a hairdresser or
Um,
something like that. She does his hair.
But he has a foundation called Dempsey Dogs, where he raises money for owners that have cancer, I think,
okay.
to take care of their dogs, is what I got from the article. So he'll be speaking at VMX, and we are very excited.
Woo, woo.
We're avid Grey's Anatomy fans.
What season are you on?
Season 20 out
Okay.
of 22, I think. I think they're 22.
You're almost
I
caught up.
am almost there.
Wow.
I am super excited
Yeah.
to listen to his talk.
I don't watch it.
I am not a watcher.
He was in some other shows, but I don't know.
Well,
what
he
they're
hasn't
called.
been in it for a long time.
some good
He did the
movies.
movie, the kids movie with where he was the prince or whatever.
Yes.
What is the
Oh,
name of that?
That is my Enchanted. That is one of my
Enchanted.
favorite
Yes.
movies
Yeah.
growing
That's a
up.
great
That's like when he
I
first
love
stepped
that
away from
movie.
Grey's Anatomy, I
Yeah.
think, wasn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
And then he has Dempsey Racing.
Yep.
There's some other things.
Oh my
with his
god, that
name.
movie. I forgot about that movie. I used to
So-
watch that all the time. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh my
Yeah, it's-
gosh. And you're a Dempsey fan.
Movie
You
night.
need to watch it.
I am
Should do
really
movie night.
excited,
It's
though.
a good movie.
Yeah,
when you're
it's
at
cute. It's really
no,
cute.
in the hotel room at VMX. You watch
the night
Enchanted.
before our first night.
Yes.
If you didn't get the hint yet, we are going to VMX.
Yes. And what is VMX, ladies? It's a veterinary conference, one of
Uh-huh.
the biggest ones. It's in Orlando, Florida. It's in January 2025.
Yup.
So,
if you're gonna be there, come find the ladies in red.
and
Yes.
get some CE while you're there. Meet some people.
Meet
Have
some people.
drinks, play
Mhm.
some games.
Yep.
Win
Go
some
to the exhibit
prizes.
hall, see the
Mm.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But we
So
will be there.
that's-
Hunt us down.
That's the peak of our week. For
Yeah.
me, he's one of those people that I would love to meet, but I never in a million years thought that I would be seeing in person. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
shall
I'm pretty
Check
pumped
that
about the concert.
Yes.
Are we allowed to say that too?
Yeah,
Harrison,
we
are we
announced
allowed to say
it.
that?
It's been announced.
Dan and Shay.
Oh,
Dan and
yeah.
Shay.
Woo, country. It's gonna be a good time.
Bring my boots.
Mhm.
My shit
Uh-huh.
kickers.
It is going to be a good time.
Yes.
That was our
Good people
collective
there.
group peak.
Yes.
It was
Courtney
a
and I
good
had
week for
mild
announcements.
panic attack when that was brought to our attention today.
I legit had
You were
heart
all caps
palpitations.
in the
I
tweet.
had Jacob feel my heart,
We
and it
stopped
was damn near about to
breathing
beat out of my
for-
chest.
Wow.
Well, because
I'm
I
so
got on my
excited.
phone after like a little bit of time had passed, so I'd seen a bunch of texts like just freaking out, but I didn't know what they were freaking out about. And then I saw Patrick Dempsey, and I'm like, no effing way.
Okay, but when you sent that text, the literal first thing I thought about was he was dead. I
Could
thought you
you
were gonna say he
imagine?
died because, like,
Could you imagine?
no, it's just because like celebrities die all the time. There's always a
know.
celebrity that dies, and like when somebody says, "Did you hear about this like famous person?"
No.
I thought you were gonna say
I
he
meant
died,
he's
and
speaking
then I
at
started
VMX,
freaking
and
out.
we're gonna be freaking
And then I
there.
freaked out in a different way when I heard that I'm gonna see him with my eyeballs, not
Oh,
through a
So
screen.
we're a
gosh.
little excited.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Can't wait.
It's amazing.
Can't wait.
I'm really
There will
excited.
be lots of footage.
It'll be a
Devin
good
and I
ti-
sitting
a
in the
good
corner
time
crying.
had by all.
crying.
We also had another peak. We spent a Sunday together this weekend.
Mhm.
And we made some content, which you guys will see soon.
some good
Again,
stuff.
be on the lookout. Follow us because good announcements, all that stuff. Also going to be hilarious because
It's gonna be
we
pretty funny.
were
We thought we were
acting
pretty
rid-
I saw it. I saw it.
we were acting
Harrison.
ridiculous. So
And then at the end, Duckwan and I had a little horsey ride. And it was
yeah, we
fun.
rode our horses together and it was so much fun. I'm
really
still
fun.
sore.
I
so.
am sore as well.
Okay,
Are we not
Pits.
doing pit? Oh, okay. I thought you were moving on. Sorry.
No.
Why is everyone making
Anybody have a pit?
I have a pit, but it's
Okay,
like a
go
pit
for
pit.
it. Go for it.
It kind of is on the celebrity thing. I hope that some of our listeners can relate to this. Courtney, shut up. I know how you feel about it, and it's actually upsetting.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, yes.
I'm not discounting your feelings. I'm just laughing a
But
little bit, but I'm not
freaking
discounting them. I understand your feelings.
what's wrong?
Liam Payne died.
Oh, I did see that.
he
One
was a
Direction.
member.
Oh.
He's a member of
Yeah.
One Direction.
I do like One Direction. I like that history song.
Yes, we know you. We know you do.
I do.
Wait,
no,
what's
we know
the
you do.
history
She always
song?
playing. It's
Sing
called
it.
History. You and me.
Me,
got
a whole lot of history.
There's so many videos
I
of her
like
singing to it.
Story of My Life.
Stop! I know, and his life's over, Duckwall.
Okay, well, why did he die?
I'm not gonna get into. It's pretty dark.
He fell off of
out of his hotel room window, out of the 3-story
Okay, but
balcony
there's a lot that goes into it. Like he has
in some other country.
he has poor mental health, and there's evidence that there were drugs and alcohol involved, and like videos leading up to it.
Oh, wow.
911 calls, him apparently in the hotel going down to the lobby saying he didn't want to be alone because he thought he might do something bad. And then
He did something bad.
That is sad.
and there are like videos of him with fans prior, and his eyes are just like his pupils are so big. He does not look well. He's
On
super
drugs.
fidgety, and it was like the same outfit that he died in, and it's just really surreal.
It's creepy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss.
thanks. But it's just
But-
like my entire generation and even other generations grew up on One Direction, and Liam was my favorite. And then thinking about him dying and how it affects the other band members, like it's just sad.
It is sad.
Yeah.
Like it consumed so much of my childhood. I
Yeah.
was so young.
Yeah. Yep. That
Hmm.
is a big pit. Sorry, not peak. It's a pit.
Oh,
Mhm.
that is
And then
pit.
earlier this week or last week or whatever, I don't know, I went up to Courtney and I think I was like, "Did you hear about Liam Payne?" She's like, "I think it's stupid when people cry about celebrity deaths." And I had literally cried like the night before.
Okay. Just put me on blast real quick, Devin.
And yet we're
So you're-
crying about meeting a celebrity as
Oh,
well. There's
God.
so many things.
They're impactful.
Okay, so like I'm not okay. I didn't use my words correctly. Okay, crying over somebody dying is a normal reaction, but people are like, I'm just not.
No,
never mind.
no, I get it. Like
I'm not gonna
some-
talk. Disregard.
Like they let it affect their life more than they should.
No, it's okay.
Or-
I'm not gonna talk.
Okay. Well, I'm just upset, and like every time I get on,
I'm really sorry.
it's okay. Every time I get on social media, it's just more and more and more. So
Yeah, you gotta stay off social media.
I know.
Honestly, after we talked about the whole Diddy thing that happened,
that kind of dissipated. Actually,
I'm surprised you knew Liam
I
Payne
haven't heard
died.
I don't know.
else
My
about
phone heard us talking about it because it still pops up on my stuff.
Oh,
so.
wow.
Diddy's intense.
so
Ugh.
rest
Okay,
in
let's
peace.
move on.
Let's move on to a different pit.
Yeah. Okay. My pit was just because I couldn't think of one until I was on my way here. Helen was spider monkeying me,
What?
crying because she didn't want me to leave. And that was heartbreaking. I had to like distract her. We had to like, I tried to say, go to dad. And she was
Throw
like,
the ball down the
"No."
hallway like you do a dog.
I tried to give her like crinkly toys and
Get
like
out her little doctor outfit.
we put her in front of water. She loves the sink and like
You sound like you're talking about a cat.
well,
it's
sometimes
funny
she
you say
acts like a
that,
cat.
'cause I
She's
have the same
clingy, like she
experience.
crawls on me.
Well, you said a ball, a crinkly
Aw.
toy. Water.
That was tonight.
Yeah, she does it when I spend the day with her, and then she doesn't want me to leave her. And so, all you moms out there, I'm sorry.
Feel your
Sad.
pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's mom's hope.
Still happens with my kids.
Yeah.
27. No, I'm just kidding.
Calvin, I'm sure does it.
He's way better than he used to be.
I bet
yes.
all your boys do it. Actually,
Cling to her?
yeah.
Or
I
just
can
say,
picture them just like coming up and hugging you and not letting
Oh.
go.
that's nice.
She's
They
like,
do.
"I
They
wish."
are willing to hug me. It's really wonderful.
That's nice. That is
Because they will. They'll come up and hug me always. But yeah, everybody's always, the way they do it is they're like, are you going into work today? And it's like, it's a day, it's
Good
a Monday or
question.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday. Yep, probably so. When are you coming home?
Oh,
It's like, that's
what they're asking is when is dinner gonna be ready?
Right. That's
Yeah.
that's what it always used to be. Are you
Yeah.
going into work today? Yep.
Gotta work. Gotta pay
Gotta
the
work.
bills.
Yeah.
Yep. Stop buying shit on Amazon. Maybe I don't have to go in one day.
Kroger click list. Right?
Yes.
Doesn't Calvin do that?
Oh God.
What does he
yes.
do?
He's way better than he used to be.
The Kroger click
Well, no, he
list?
used to do the Amazon. I don't know if
Yeah.
he did. Well, he would add stuff to Kroger Click List. Yes.
Okay.
He would just
yeah.
order random stuff on Amazon
Yep.
On what device?
just for fun.
He would just be on like, he would like, you know how like it remembers your stuff?
Yeah.
So then he would log in and it would just
Oh my
remember the
gosh.
passwords or whatever. And then one time he ordered a robot that was like, Harrison, what was the name of that robot? It was like $600. And he was so upset. We had to send it back. He was like 4. You know, and I was like, we're not keeping a $600 robot. It's going back. And it had a name. I can't remember its
Oh,
name.
gosh.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What does he buy
Kid.
now?
He doesn't do anything
Oh.
without asking now. He's way, way better.
That's
So,
good.
good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He'll put things in the cart hoping that we don't see them, you know, but he also uses it as a wish list. And I'm like, there's other wish lists. Like you don't have to put them in the cart.
Mm-hmm.
There is an actual wish list on
Yeah.
Amazon.
So
You just got to
Calvin.
turn that
yeah,
button.
exactly. So anyway,
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have
Shall
a
we keep
pit?
going with our pits?
What was the pit from that?
I don't know.
She had to leave
I was
one.
just talking.
Yeah.
No, her.
I was just
She didn't have a
talking.
pit.
I didn't really have
Oh.
a pit. I was just adding
Okay.
context to
Okay.
other people's pits.
We'll carry on.
Okay.
Do you have a pit?
No, go for it.
I don't really have a pit either, so I'm just gonna come up with one, I guess, with something random.
It's just us.
I mean, I'm having
And you have the rest of the week off.
my
And
peak
you're going
is.
on vacation.
I'll just say I'll have a separate peak. I'm going on vacation tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I was on vacation mode last night, so I'm really excited.
Yeah.
My pit. Oh, I have a good pit.
Okay.
Well, I'll do 2 pits. Why not?
Wow.
Went from 0 to
That
2.
escalated
I
quickly.
just thought of something. Okay, so my first pit is that I have to leave my dog tomorrow. I'm going on vacation, but I have to leave him, and he's my kid. Not that I don't trust
know
who he's
my-
going with, but he's my kid, so I just have a little anxiety. Anyway, my second one is that my husband does a little bit, dabbles in betting during the NFL season. He doesn't have like a problem, so it's fine. But he had a bet on an NFL game on Sunday on a few games, and he won $600 from the bar we were at, which great, awesome, love it. And then he had another bet, and if you speak bet language, he had a parlay that had 10 legs. I don't know if you guys know what that means.
Nope.
No.
If you don't know what that means, it's like you have to get this, this, and this to hit your bet. So like this person has to score a touchdown, this person has to get an interception, this
Like, they
person
all
has
have
to
to
get a
line
field,
up.
like something like that.
Yeah.
And you have to
Bingo.
hit all of those legs in order to get your whole parlay. And so he had a 10-leg parlay. So he had to hit 10 different things in multiple different NFL games.
Okay.
And he got 9 out of 10.
Oh my
and
gosh.
the payout was $15,000. He got 9 out of 10. We
Yeah.
missed one leg. And so usually when you bet on these apps, if you're like, okay, I'm not going to hit it, you can do a payout or a cash out before like it's over. And so usually it will give you a little bit of money. So like he could have cashed out for like $4,000 to $5,000 and the app would not give him the choice to. So he got
Oh.
nothing.
Mm,
Like it didn't
yep.
give us a single choice. And it's like Vegas. Vegas controls all of it. So
Oh.
it was kind of just like them being
Mm.
stupid. But like it's just like a quarterback scored 2 touchdowns, which doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's what happened instead of getting it to the player who we needed to get it. It was really disappointing. The whole bar was rooting for us. It was
Mm.
really, really sad.
Did
So
he
it was
lose
just-
any money?
House always wins.
It was actually a $5 bet to win 15,000. So we lost $5.
Okay.
No, that's
well,
good.
that's not bad.
That's not-
It's not bad, but like it's still just
Dang
really,
it,
like when
it's
you
so
get when you
close.
get that excited and you're that close.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really disappointing.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
that's
my
that's
pit.
a downer.
Mm-hmm.
Faux show.
All right, that's all I got.
All right. This is an interesting one, folks. This inquiry.
Are we popcorning? Are we doing
We can.
a fell swoop?
I'm just gonna have to literally follow along with my finger as you guys read.
All
so I
right,
know.
hit
Let's
it.
do
This
it.
You want me
person's
to
going to
s-
be super happy, though.
Do you need
Do you want-
glasses?
No,
I
I'm
can
good.
start. Okay.
I'm.
I don't think she's gonna read. I can't. Okay. Hi, my name is Abigail, and I followed you all for quite some time, and I have such a random and unusual question, but I'm looking for any advice. It's a long story, but it's extremely hot tea and ridiculous, and please help me. I am so desperate. The clinic I am working with this is absolutely no help. Thank you so much in advance for reading my novel. I am so sorry, lol. So I live in Indiana, and my husband's family lives in Kentucky. They feed 2 stray cats outside their home and have for quite some time, and they seem to be pretty bonded. A couple weeks ago, we noticed a bad infection on one, and so I asked if we paid for it, if they would catch them and take them to their vet in Kentucky. The black kitty was the only one with the infection, but the gray tabby he was bonded to, I wanted to be seen just to do some blood work and get some vaccines so they could be released back outside together, and I would know they were healthy. Eventually, my plan was to get them neutered as well. They took them in about a week ago to their clinic that I don't know much about and were able to get treatment for the black kitty with the infection as well as blood work, and he has since been released. However, the tech accidentally let out the gray tabby in the exam room, and he proceeded to panic and feral cat-esque and climb up the kennel doors and bust through one of their ceiling tiles. I do want to note that this was after we had given them permission to sedate them if needed to perform the exams, and I guess they decided after asking me to forego that. They reassured me that they would set a trap with some food and water for him, and hopefully they would catch him that night after everyone else had left for the day. It had been almost 1 week, and they are still not able to catch him. I haven't received any calls from them on this as well. I've had to reach out daily to find out any new information. Today I called and requested to speak to the practice owner to see if we could brainstorm some solutions or different trapping methods, and they said he wouldn't take my call. By the way, red flag. But they would see if the doctor that treated them originally would call me back. I just got off the phone with him, and he told me that they weren't even sure if he was still in the building. On top of that, he tried to assure me that the stray cat would be much safer if he did escape than if he stayed in the clinic attic, because there are so many strays and cats in their area, which I found absolutely absurd that they would think that, considering feral cats are such an epidemic, and he's an unaltered and unvaccinated male cat. And he's also in a completely different city. My in-laws travel from Lawrenceburg to Harrodsburg for their vet care, so he is nowhere near any area that he is familiar with. Anyway, he proceeded to tell me that he didn't know of any other way to get the cat out of the ceiling. They've basically tried everything they can, and I feel isn't taking this super seriously, considered that it is a feral cat and not an actual pet. I'll just keep going. Okay. My heart is absolutely broken for him, knowing that this is a level of concern that vets have for him, and also we don't even know if he's still up there. My question is, does anyone at your clinic have any advice on how I can help trap this kitty? They so far have just set out regular cat animal traps, the standard metal ones, and put food like sardines and tuna out. He is able to get inside them without setting them off. Any ideas would be much appreciated. We are sending them a wireless camera that can detect motion to at least see if we can find out if he's still up there, but other than that, we don't have a plan, and they don't seem very invested in trying to help him. I know you probably receive 1,000 emails a day, but you guys seem very caring and knowledgeable, and if anything, it's a juicy story for your podcast, but seriously, do you have any ideas? I'm so desperate to successfully retrieve him, but I am about to drive out there and do an overnight stakeout. Please help. I've reached out to my vet to see if I could get any ideas, and I haven't heard anything back yet, but I'm so freaking desperate to help this little guy. So any advice would be amazing. Thank you so much for your time. If you're still reading this, you've literally read an entire book. I'm so sorry, but thanks. XOXO Abigail, a very insane cat lady that follows you on Instagram and loves you guys. And then at Abigail.
Oh, my
wow.
God.
Do your
laughed when I
fingers
read that
hurt after
story.
typing that?
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I just pictured this cat
That's rough.
going
That's happened
crazy.
That's happened at our
Bananas.
clinic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the cat got in the actual attic, but he hit the tile and almost went in there.
We
few months ago.
We went to an owner's house to pick up cats, and one cat was named Monkey, and she had separated them
That's awesome.
into it's Medea Paul, if any of you know Medea Paul.
no.
She separated them into rooms. She lives in Broad Ripple, so her house is small. And one of them was in a bathroom. And so Caleb Biddles and I go in the bathroom to get this cat, and it literally is scaling the shower curtains holding onto the shower curtains up into we were like, this cat is freaking insane.
Freaking monkey.
Yeah, it was
amazing.
bananas. I mean, they're either like that, like on the ceiling, or you can do whatever you want to cats, I feel like. But
Yeah, they can get pretty crazy.
They can scale
Yeah,
things like
they're-
he
nobody's
must have
business.
just pushed open the
Mhm.
ceiling tile.
Well, that
Yeah.
so our
Like,
TPL,
push
what
it
our
out.
TPLO room is now, and it used to be ultrasound. Bailey and Ham had a super feral male cat, and he lost it on them and scaled the wall, got up on that shelf that's in there, and then hit the tile and knocked it off of like the boards
Right.
it's on. But he didn't get all the way up in the ceiling because he fell. But he almost got he hit the tile and it moved.
There's
Well,
no
you
way.
said
How do they know
So-
that those tiles lift?
I don't think they do.
I don't
I
think
just
they
think they're
do.
bouncing around,
Yeah.
and then they realize they're like, oh, escape route,
Yeah.
and they go.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, you said you had a sugar glider at your clinic.
Critters, yep.
Yeah, that got stuck in the ceiling tiles.
Yep. I
We've
lived
had
there for
birds in our
months.
attic
Yep.
at the clinic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how big the clinic is, but I'm like, why aren't the owners just taking down the ceiling tiles until you find the cat?
I don't
Right.
understand the
Yeah.
mindset that he's safer out with all the other stray cats than in the attic. Like maybe because he can access food and water and stuff, but
Well, that's his lifestyle. That's his home.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're thinking. Is that
Yeah.
he
Like
has
he just
access
because
to-
like he won't be as stressed because he'll be outside and he's an outdoor cat.
yeah, I guess.
Well,
like an
I mean,
outdoor
the
cat
only
in a
thing I
locked
thought
in a
of
small space is
was
stressful.
like putting food out that's super tasty and
Which
putting
they've
meds in
done.
it.
putting meds in it to slow the cat down.
Yeah, to slow the cat down. Obviously, you don't. Safety wise, you have to be careful. I'm not advocating for like overdosing him, but that way, just slow it down enough to maybe he then be willing to go in a trap and be slower to come back out, or like maybe
don't know why he's
sleep
not
and
setting
stay
off
in
the
one
traps.
spot.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a faulty trap.
or he's not in there like they said.
Well,
But how would
Right.
he get out
I
of
mean,
the clinic?
camera is helpful. Like
Yeah,
going down there
that'll
with the
be-
camera
But
it
who's
would be
eating the
helpful.
food in the trap?
They said
Yeah.
he's eating the food?
Well, they
Well,
said that
it
he's
assumes you think because she says that he goes in and out of the trap without setting
Oh.
it off. So they must see that
Yeah.
the food's missing.
Yeah.
Can
I would
somebody
assume.
go in the attic? Has somebody been
you have
in
to
the
be able
attic?
to, right?
You can. You could lift up the ceiling tiles
Yeah.
and you could put like half your body in there and look around.
And
Yeah.
get a cat bag and just
I'm sure that there is somewhere that it like connects to a vent outside that he could have theoretically climbed out of and escaped, right?
Maybe. I don't
Because
know.
like, how else would he escape if?
That's why I
unless
think
he
the
like
first
got
goal is
back
to
down
figure
on
out
the
if he's still in
floor
there.
and was hiding and then just jetted out.
So my advice would be go to wherever the clinic is and look at what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like look at the environment, look at the inside of the clinic and go, okay,
Get a flashlight. Look for some
like
And if-
let's take down the ceiling tiles and actually take a ladder and look up there,
Mm-hmm.
check their trap, make sure their trap is actually not a faulty trap.
Yep.
Mhm.
Meds in the food.
How many traps do they have?
How
Set
many
more
traps? Yep. Put the camera up there.
Yep.
definitely put a camera up there.
If they
And-
allow an overnight stakeout,
And
I
then
mean,
then stay in the clinic overnight.
Yeah.
Or-
Isn't that what you said with your sugar lighter?
Yep.
They only heard it at night
Yep.
and then it took.
Well, they're nocturnal, and
Yeah.
cats are the same. Can be the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's busy in the clinic, and then he's scared, and so then he stays away.
yeah, put some yummy
You
food
have
down
to be
there.
able to hear the cat running around, though.
I
Put some
would
like
think
fancy
so.
feast canned food.
Yeah. And just put a little gabapentin in there.
But I mean, like when Chief got on the ceiling in treatment,
Mm-hmm. You
I
could
mean,
hear him.
he almost fell through. I mean,
Yeah.
like he would fall through those ties. Like he would push the.
Oh.
Like I don't understand,
big
but I don't know
bird.
how big this cat is either.
They're very
Yeah.
light. But Chief's also not big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's going to feel her best if doing the cameras or just seeing if the clinic's going to allow her to take a big ass flashlight and
Yep.
look up there and see if you can see him.
Which they
Yep.
should let her.
Right. Right.
I mean, they're
I mean, I
liable.
think the trouble here is the frustration of maybe the mindset.
Yeah.
Like they're thinking like, oh, this cat is not belong. It doesn't belong in a home per se. So no harm, no foul. We didn't lose anything, but that's not true. She was
Like, a
willing to
client
pay
brought-
for
yeah.
treatments, care for this animal, which in a way makes her. I mean, she's the owner
Mhm.
at that
Yeah.
point. So, and it's I mean, it's still considered property. So it's still her property.
But as a business owner, they should be willing to let her come in the practice.
Yeah.
And see what she's up against. And as far as like, look if there's any egress on the outside of the building that
Mhm.
the cat can get out of. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Right.
because then that's
I'll
going to
come help.
change everything. You know, if there's
Yeah.
a way out from the attic, then,
It's
I mean,
they're
he could
probably
be
not
anywhere.
up there. Yeah.
you know, and maybe she would feel better, although the cat would be lost.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she would feel better knowing he's not stuck in the
Right.
attic, right? Because I
Yeah.
mean, then your brain starts thinking about like, okay, he's stuck in the attic. He's going to starve. He has no food.
Yeah.
More peace of
da-da-da,
mind.
da-da-da,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I would
Well,
think as
the
an
not
owner, you'd
knowing
want to
is-
catch the cat. He's pissing and pooping
I was
everywhere in
just
your
thinking
in
that.
your ceiling,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right?
like a male
Yeah.
cat,
That,
Oof.
a
that's what I think.
unneutered male cat.
Yeah.
They should smell it
They
by
should
now.
smell him.
Yeah.
If he's still up
It's
there,
in
they
the
would smell
ventilation
him.
system.
So I'm calling hogwash. Like I'd go down there and find out.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
go find him.
And
All
go.
right, Devin the sleuth is on it. Devin the detective.
Sleuth.
Send us the clinic name.
That's right. Devin will go check it out.
I don't know. I think those
Like
are the
Matt
best ideas
Whitford.
we have. I think
Yeah.
you can only do so much when they're lost in an attic. You just got to go looking.
Yeah.
But I will
Physically,
say, if
go
the
looking.
food in the trap is actually disappearing, then he has to still be.
But think
in the
about it. There
clinic
could be
coming
mice,
down and-
right?
Yeah.
Mice are everywhere.
Yeah. Mice.
We
could
have
be eating
mice
that
in our
food.
clinic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's
And
Yeah.
those
mice
don't make a
everywhere.
lot of sound.
Nope.
So unless the cat's
And they
eating
don't
the
eat
mice
much
to
to press the
survive,
lever,
so then
but-
it's doing the clinic
The
a
mice
favor.
are eating the cat food, and the cat is eating the
the
mice.
mice.
Yeah.
The cat's eating double.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Okay, Abigail.
He's
those
very
were a
well
couple
taken care of
ideas.
in the attic.
Stay,
All right.
Abigail. That really stinks.
I'm
That's
sorry.
very
I do
frustrating.
think that's a tricky situation in general. Just like I can imagine losing a crazy cat in a ceiling,
Mhm.
but
How far away
Yeah.
is Lawrenceburg? Anyone know?
It's in Kentucky.
It's almost to
Oh, right.
Cincinnati.
Never
She's
mind.
almost to
Kentucky.
Cincinnati.
She
Sorry
lives in
about that.
Indiana, but
Mhm.
the cat is in Kentucky.
You just go down 74 and you run into it.
The cat's in a Kentucky attic.
keep us posted, please. We are
Yes.
invested.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Abigail,
yeah,
please.
yeah,
And
yeah.
maybe some of those suggestions will help. But I think that people, because they're not advocating, you're getting frustrated. So
Yeah.
just make them.
Yes.
Don't feel bad about being the squeaky door.
Yep.
Wheel.
We love a
Whatever it
squeaky
is.
wheel.
Good luck. Let us know.
The door, the wheel, whatever
Window.
you got to be squeaky. Okay.
Okay. Next one.
Yep.
From Anonymous. I'm curious about y'all's thoughts on VEG, Veterinary Emergency Group. I've heard ups and downs. As a vet tech, doing everything in front of an owner seems scary and maybe sometimes dangerous. Thank you. I love the podcast.
Hmm.
Thank you for the review.
Our extern that we just had, She got offered a job there, and she's really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how. I mean, I don't think necessarily doing stuff in front of owners is the worst thing ever, but I also think it'd be very difficult to do every single thing in front of an owner. Like I don't know how they operate. Like if you can take an animal away from a patient, but she made it sound like you did like every little thing in front of the owner.
These are the clinics you do surgeries and they can watch, right? And
no, like this is like it's just their setup. You do everything. Like they're strictly emergency. They're 24/7. It's in Indy.
It's a whole group.
Well, yeah, there's
that's true. But they
Mm-hmm.
just do everything in front of them.
I don't know
like
about
treatments,
doing the surgeries,
exams.
but
I think there's windows.
I think it's mainly like
Mm-hmm.
triage and
It would be like our treatment area, and then
As
there
the
would
lobby.
be separate
it's
chairs
like separate tables
for owners to sit at. I
Mhm.
think the philosophy behind it, if I understand it correctly, because Dr. Crocker works at one as well, is that one, you can have multiple technicians like moving from more urgent case to more urgent case. So you can triage easier and owners can see what's happening so they understand.
And
I think some of the triaging that needs to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the main functions of in keeping the pets seem
Build
to be more
trust.
relaxed with their owners than away from their owners.
Yeah.
I think they have some thoughts like that as far as
I think you just have to be super overly transparent with these owners, because I think some people may have in their heads like, this is what it's going to look like or feel like or whatever, sound like. And then if that is completely different than what the owner thinks is going to happen, then that is just an opportunity for frustration, disagreement, worry. I mean,
I also feel like there needs to be a pretty solid line of like rules, because there are some clients that I feel like would be hysterical and like reaching over and interfering.
yeah.
And that would not be safe.
Yeah. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there has
Oh,
to
I'm
be,
sure.
right? Like,
Especially in the emergency field. I will say I know someone that is a vet at VEG in Chicago, and she loves it.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Loves
mean, I
it.
think the people that work in that like environment
Mhm.
seem to like Dr. Crocker likes it.
Yeah.
So like they must
I
like
think
it.
it just take getting used to.
Yeah.
It's different goals too. Like we're used to basically veterinary or emergency medicine is right. You just stabilize, treat and treat to get them to their main doctor, right? So there's just different goals there. Whereas with us, it's obviously long lasting building relationships that I don't know. It's just the
Yeah.
way I look at it is just different.
I can definitely see
philosophies
how
in
it can be
general.
dangerous, but I can also see how it helps build trust with owners.
If it makes it more quicker, I think, in getting that rotation of clients and patients in and out faster,
Mhm.
I'm sure that's all that matters.
And then they can
That's the end of the
communicate
line.
while it's happening and not having
Right.
to do it and then go have a conversation, then go back, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as a technician working in that environment, my guess would be what happens is it's just like when we have a camera in an exam room, and at first everybody knows the camera's there, and eventually you don't think you just forget that the camera's there. That's probably what happens with your thinking as a technician or as a doctor.
Yeah.
Like at first you're very aware the owners are there, but eventually you probably doesn't
Yeah.
phase you
Yeah,
that the
that's
owners
true.
You
are there.
just learn
I
how to
could see how-
communicate it, and
Yeah. And I thought about this because one of Harrison's twins is in the NICU, and they do everything in front of the people. Like if you're there
Yeah.
visiting,
Yeah.
they do everything in front of you.
Yeah.
They don't ask you to step out unless you're uncomfortable, then you can step outside. But I mean,
Sure.
so you must just get used to eyes
yeah,
watching you
Yeah.
maybe.
yeah.
I'm sure the pressure is immense at first when you're
Yeah.
starting in that field or that.
So,
I think that'd be super interesting to ask.
mhm.
I'm sure
somebody's
there are
opinion
some
about
clients
that.
that
We'll
are
have
like,
to ask
no.
Crocker and
Yeah.
some of the other
Yeah.
technicians
I
that
just
work
will
at those
share.
fields.
I'm sure there's
Because
some clients that are like, oh, I'll just
Harrison,
wait in the
who's
lobby.
why can't I think of Ain't Doing Right's name?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, thank you. He's a veg, right? Technician?
He's a veggie.
Yeah, he's been a vet
That's who
tech
they're
for
called?
many,
Oh,
many
really?
years.
I think so.
Yeah, and he
I've
works
seen
at
it on
Veg.
social media.
So-
Okay.
yeah. And so we could always ask his opinion, what he thinks of it too.
Yeah,
Like
should.
from a technician and
Mhm.
get you some
I just would be
true
super-
insight.
The boundaries that have to be set, or like the
Yeah.
communication. I would be very interested on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Great question. All right. The next one is from Jessie. Hi there. I'm Jessie. I've worked in the veterinary field since I was 15, got my batch in animal science. I graduated in 2022. I'm 24 now. My dream has always been to be a vet, but the debt scares me and I feel like I'm not smart enough. I don't want to leave the field, but it's impossible to make a living as a veterinary assistant. I'm feeling lost and trapped. Any advice would be appreciated. At Jessie.
Oh, the money.
Well, first off, you are smart enough.
Yeah.
It's not about like, I'm sure you have to have some grades, right, to get in, but it's also about who you know, how you conduct yourself, the ability to think outside the box to problem solve, like all of that stuff. It's not just pure academic, because the reality is when you're outside of vet school, you can go back and look things up. It's not like you have to just sit there like it's a test and say, no, I don't remember, I failed. Like, so
absolutely
get that out of your head, because that's not a good.
I think personally, I think the best veterinarians are the ones who actually think they don't know everything.
Yes.
And are always wondering, do I get that right? Because they're always going to get the best information for you, because they're going to make sure that they're right. So they're going to go look it up. They're going to double check themselves. They're not going to just necessarily rely on what they learned.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, they're going to have accountability with other colleagues. And
yeah.
So you are smart enough. So don't think that.
But the debt is scary.
That's a valid concern.
I mean, how would you pay for it if it was you doing it now? Because it's probably gone up a little bit since you've gotten, not a ton, but I mean, it's gone up a little bit since you graduated in 18.
My goal, I guess, I only applied to several based off location. And the main one, obviously, was the in-state one was my priority based off tuition and location. So I looked at schools, sure, the tuition, but also like if there was a time where if I had to commute, you know, with save cost on like family or friends or something like that. The vet schools are pretty far apart, so it just kind of depends on where you're at geographically and how that would work for you. But I mean, I'll be honest, like I was just kind of hoping for in-state, and if I was actually waitlisted at Purdue, and so I just was like, well, I'm just going to hold off, and I don't get in anywhere or even Purdue, I'm just going to try again for Purdue, because the in-state was just so much better than out of state.
Well, now we've got the newer colleges with a different curriculum coming out. True. So maybe there'll be a difference depending on her financial situation. If she's an adult, right? So like she's not on someone else's tax form,
right?
Like as a dependent.
She's 24 right now,
right? So maybe she would qualify at a veterinary assistant salary for some type of grants.
Oh, probably
like Pell grants and stuff like that. Maybe like, so maybe then you wouldn't have necessarily, those are things that you wouldn't have to pay back, right? Might not make up all of it, but maybe it's a third of it or a quarter of it. I mean, it would make it more feasible. So I would definitely look at that, because you're not making very much money, which would then qualify you hopefully for some of these other.
Yeah. I mean, there's at least through Purdue is the Vet Scholar program. So you got into vet school. Wait, how does this work? We'll have to ask Dudley, because I'm pretty sure she was.
Oh, you mean like you were an undergraduate? Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
You went in 6 years.
Yeah. Okay. So you didn't have to do the full 4 years bachelor. Or
but your last 2 years of your BS is your first 2 years of vet school. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there's a financial benefit to that as well.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So
I think that's what Sophie Matthews is trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another option. I'm sure that's at Purdue, but wherever you
did Madeline do that?
Madeline's 4th year. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know if she did that, but
I don't know if she did that. We'll have to ask her.
It's like almost.
We have some resources that you can apply for it.
Like starting vet school.
So check out all the different ways that you can pay for it. I do think you can pay it back if you're willing to work in areas that allow you to generate a large amount of income that are less favorable for other people. So if you put aside wanting everything, if you're like, okay, I'm going to say yes to being a veterinarian and I'm going to say no to work-life balance for the first 5 years. Okay.
Make
it work. And then you're done and you paid for it and you work at VEG and you make a lot of money.
You move to a high production area for a few years.
Large animal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the veterinarian at the
not
Chicago
large animals.
Vet
They don't make money.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some places, if there's a need.
Well, I guess if
and
there's
they
a
have
need,
those.
you can negotiate.
They have those. Like even Mississippi State, I think they're doing 1 or 2 scholarships. I can't remember. Harrison, do you remember that when we were there? 1 or 2 scholarships are being paid for. If you go practice rural medicine, your veterinary school, you get a scholarship.
You could also work for your state and get the loan forgiveness. I have a friend that did that too. She works for Indiana State. So
those are some options to get you in and then accomplish getting rid of the debt.
Yeah, and then,
then
from
go
there,
do what
just
you wanna
figure
do.
it out. Yeah.
So
I will say that a few episodes ago, we talked about a couple that both were going to be veterinarians, the debt.
Yes.
Somebody wrote in and said that they were an ER veterinarian in Texas, and that by doing anywhere from 3 to 5 shifts at a place like VEG, you could easily pay off that amount of debt. And from what I remember, each of them were in $300,000 to $400,000 worth of debt.
yes,
Nice.
they were.
So
You just
So
gotta,
even if
like I
it's
said,
not-
you just have to say no to other
You have
things.
to buckle
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
It may not be your favorite medicine at first, but maybe you end up loving it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Or it's
options.
in an unideal place.
But do not tell yourself you're not smart enough. That is not going to get you anywhere, especially if you do go forward with being a vet.
Just have a plan. You
Yes.
could do it. Just have a plan.
Good luck, Jesse.
Yes, good luck.
Yeah, good
Let
luck.
us know what you decide.
Want to do your thing?
Are you sure you don't want to do it? Pretty sure. Okay, great. Continue utilizing our text messaging service. You can find it on the episode you click on. On the top, it says send us a text message. You can send us your inquiries, questions, and then mention your name if you'd like a shout out during our episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Looking to protect your canine patients against parasites? Look no further than Simparica Trio, Serolaner Moxidectin and Pyrantel chewable tablets. The first chewable to offer triple protection from heartworm disease, ticks and fleas, and roundworms and hookworms. It's also FDA approved to block infections that may cause Lyme disease by killing deer ticks.
Use with caution in dogs with a history of seizures. Serolaner belongs to the isoxazoline class, which has been associated with neurologic adverse reactions. The most common side effects were vomiting and diarrhea.
Visit SimparicaTrioDVM.com for full prescribing information.
Yeah. Okay. So, I was going to say Richie. Cooper is a 9-year-old
Something like that.
male neutered puggle, and he presented on a couple days ago. So last week, for owner said it was coughing. So he came in. We do isolation curbside just because of the coughing stuff, and on exam, pretty boring, to be very honest. He had like some congestion when he was sniffing around, and maybe I was able to provoke like one little hack when I was palpating his throat, but pretty boring otherwise. Everything else, their main complaint they thought was that he was painful because he seemed to chirp up with Rimadyl or Carprofen.
Mm-hmm.
But then they showed me a video of him being like, like that, not a deep cough, more like a upper dry cough. So, but then also in the history, they had said he had vomited a couple times, a couple days prior. So I was thinking, okay, he's got some esophagitis, like he's just got inflammation going on. So I prescribed sucralfate and we did Cerenia, and they were comfortable with that because I didn't want to do like Doxy or an antibiotic just because it didn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
He had no fever, lungs sounded great, no nasal discharge. BAR, no discomfort. He's had a history of neck pain and he had no discomfort at the visit with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes back, goes through the weekend. Is that rain?
Is that rain?
Sorry, it just got really loud here, but
Yeah.
it's just rain.
Okay. I didn't
So
realize it was supposed to
he
rain.
came back several days later. They had kept up with us that he just felt like he still wasn't himself. He was like panting, pacing, didn't want to eat. They would give Rimadyl and he seemed to be much better.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up seeing him yesterday again, and he like visibly looked different. Like he was not as BAR. He was hanging his head low,
Mm.
No
like
tail
classic
wags.
neck pain. He was stressed, but he's always stressed in the clinic. But like just that classic, like I don't want to look up or around.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But what was interesting is that he's super food motivated. And so when I got treats out, he would go up and around and move his neck fine. And then I manipulated it myself and he was fine on all range of motions, except when I went to full extension and really extended him, he had this weird, like, how'd you clap? Like a grunt.
It was
cough.
like, yeah, it was like almost like snort, like throat snorting.
Yes.
Like it was like, he was like,
when I did full extension.
yeah.
And what I also noticed in the room with the owners there is I went to go palpate his like throat again to see if he would cough, and he got super tense. Like
Mhm.
just completely tensed out. Like the neck was like, you couldn't palpate anything because he was so tense. I was like, okay, this is weird. So we actually proceeded with chest and neck x-rays, found a soft tissue structure on his neck, just caudal to like the larynx area. And when we sedated him for it too, and I was able to palpate it, and you could feel a soft tissue mass. Well, soft tissue mass, but it's around where the thyroid is as well. So that's also my differentials. Like, is there a thyroid mass, or is it completely separate? But you can see it on the x-rays, and it just all made sense then. It lining up with his weird grunts, his coughing when he was barking, his pain, his discomfort. So I did FNA it when he was sedated, and we submitted it to the lab, so we'll find out. But most of these cases, it comes back as like a thyroid carcinoma. So I've kind of prepped them for that. I did not send blood work for checking thyroid hormone, because I figured we'd just start with the mass first and go from there. But yeah, it was very interesting. It was truly where I was like, I don't really know what's going on with this dog, but bring him back in and we'll go from there.
Deeper.
They could remove that, right? Like a specialist.
It's hard. Usually you do
really
radiation.
a nightmare to remove.
Okay.
Yeah. Radiation's like the choice, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
And then,
because the parathyroid is also connected like with the thyroid gland, and then you have
This messes up so many.
like your nerve function, so then you can cause laryngeal paralysis. Like, it's a whole nightmare.
I did
They
have
really
a really
prefer not to do that. Surgeons prefer not to do them.
I did have a really young doodle go and get it done though.
Do you
He
know
was
if
really
like
young.
radioactive iodine treatment works for thyroid carcinoma?
It's no, because it's in cats, it's not a neoplastic process, whereas for dogs, it's usually malignant, and so it grows. It's large, like you can feel it's large, and whereas cats, you can maybe feel like swelling of the thyroid is how you could say it, but
Thyroiditis.
yeah, yeah, you have to like slow the wheel down in cats, whereas this is truly like a structural obstruction issue. Yeah,
But they, I mean, you're right. I mean, radiation would be the treatment of choice.
Yeah.
Which they may do.
Yeah.
I bet they
may
would.
do. His lungs looked great. There's no issues there. So it was very interesting. It was just like one of those, like, I don't know, but I'll look again.
It was
and
like
see.
he started so early, like the coughing, but then
he
he
declared
progressed
itself.
very clearly. He was very
fascinating.
dumpy yesterday.
I just thought the pain was fascinating.
and he came walking in last
I mean,
week.
most of the thyroid tumor dogs feel okay.
Right.
They come
They
in,
just
you
find
find
a
it,
bump.
like on your annual exam. They don't present for it necessarily unless an owner feels it. And then they're like, they have this mass here.
Right.
But they don't.
Could be something different. May not be the thyroid, but
Well, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll wait and see.
yep.
Good case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do a case. So we have a 1-year-old Rhodesian Ridgeback. She's a little lady. So she presented for the first time 3 or 4 months ago. It was in the summer at some point. She came into the clinic because she was swelled up like a stuck pig. So she had hives all over her body. She had severe facial swelling. So we treated her like most allergic reactions. We gave her some Benadryl, some diphenhydramine, and then we gave her some Dex SP and sent her on her way. She improved. She was fine. A few weeks later, comes back with the same exact thing. A different doctor sees her this time, does the Dex SP, does the diphenhydramine, gives her pred to go home. Does fine. Recovers just fine. And then she comes back a third time and she's swollen again. And so we kind of were mentioning like, okay, you might need to go to an allergist. Like something is happening. And mind you, they live on a lot of land. They have horses. So Xena just roams wherever pretty much she wants to. Well, she comes back again yesterday for the same exact thing. She has severe facial swelling. She's got hives covering her entire body. But she actually had swelling of her tongue this time. So we got really worried about her breathing, things like that. So we had another serious conversation with the owner about you probably need to go to an allergist. So we gave her, the owners know, so they gave her oral Benadryl immediately when it happened at home, brought her in about 30 minutes later. We gave her Dex. We did not give her Benadryl. And then we sent home pred just in case. And apparently today she came back again for the swelling happening again. So it went down a little bit before we sent her home yesterday, but I'm assuming she just puffed back up the same.
I guess you guys probably didn't know this either, but she went to an ER last night.
Oh.
Because she was still swollen. I don't know how she was when she left yesterday.
She was better, but she was still swollen.
Yeah. So they went to an ER last night.
Because her swelling never like goes down because it's so bad.
And I think that I'm not positive what the ER did, but then she went home and then came back to us this morning because she swelled back up.
Oh,
So-
wow. I wonder what they just did more. Because
I
in those
think-
cases, you can't do like a
I don't-
CRI of anything, right?
I don't think they did any more Dex since we had just
Right.
given
Maybe
it.
they gave her injectable Benadryl
She's
Because
not
we
on
didn't-
Benadryl right now?
No, they do Benadryl.
Yeah, they
know-
do.
They know the system.
And they go all the way like up to
yeah, they
2
go
mgs?
above. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
they give her like the max dose.
They do
and it
75
doesn't-
mgs and she's like 67 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I did the Dex SP and we did it. I did the high dose I could do like for a reaction.
Mhm.
We did an IV. I felt like her eye went down a little bit. It was
Her eye
huge,
definitely went down.
but she was
yesterday.
still like, "Nah," like because her tongue was
Yeah.
swollen. She was breathing fine.
Yes.
But we had the epi ready. Just
I was
'cause
going to
we
say,
didn't
can we
know.
just give her epinephrine to get on top of it?
But will that
or-
help with the swelling? I thought that was more for just the anaphylactic breathing issue to open up the airways.
Well, I've seen Thompson use that for.
Okay, yeah,
don't
maybe
know.
next time.
because it'll happen again.
Well, the goal is
Hopefully not, but-
they're willing to go get referred. We
Mhm.
referred to all the there's
They gotta
3 in
get on that.
Indiana, so we just sent all the referrals out. So I think the idea is like they do immunotherapy because we talked about like sure we could do Apoquil, Cytopoint, but like she swells really bad,
Like,
and
bad.
But that's
like,
a type 1 hypersensitivity, right? So it's a
Right.
histamine release,
true.
right? So like she needs to your point, she needs like
The immunotherapy,
probably.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, her swelling
so-
is.
And we even thought like,
intense.
do we change antihistamines and do?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's probably safe to double up. I
double
don't
up.
know.
That's what I was
but,
going to say too. Is double up. Yeah,
But I think
Interesting.
I also thought too, maybe I'm wrong, but each time they're exposed to like an allergic,
Antigen?
it gets worse, right? Can they have worse reactions?
Like,
I
each
think
time?
for
more
type
sensitive?
1s like that. Yes, like I mean that's possible.
like you react
She's
worse
fitting-
each time you're.
Yeah, like she's fitting the bill where I feel like she's getting worse each time.
Oh
she has
yeah,
a
no, her
breakout.
swelling is getting way worse each
Right.
time.
So I don't
The
know.
fact that
Yesterday was
she's
the
swollen
worst
three
it- I
times
mean,
in the
so
last
do you
24
think
hours.
that the histamine problem isn't under control, and as soon as the meds come out of her system, then she flares up, or is she re-exposing herself?
Re-
No, we
Re-exposure.
we
I
think
think
it's
it's
because she'll
re-exposure.
like
It's like a few months and then a random week.
The history
and
is
then
always
a
she's
few
out with the
weeks.
horses and she comes
Yeah.
back and gets swollen.
because she's resolved each time. Like she may still be swollen the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
but she resolves, and then we won't see her for a few weeks, and then it happens again.
Yeah.
But she's outside every time it happens.
Yeah.
And they don't just keep her on Benadryl?
No,
No, I don't think
she's
so.
not on it daily.
I don't think it'd be enough at this point. I'll be very honest with you.
Yeah, especially the
agree.
way it sounds like she
Yeah.
was the other day, like
Yeah.
whatever.
And
yesterday.
this doc has just been a nightmare for them. But
I'm not so.
it's just
That stinks. They had to go to the ER, but I don't know if there wasn't really an alternative anyway. If
Yeah.
they felt like her breathing was off,
Yeah.
especially if like anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
The
I
ER
would like
didn't
to
give
see
her
if they
epi
gave-
or anything.
I
They didn't
did
give
but
epi?
No.
I did
was
send
not told
home
that they
Pred for sure, just
Yeah.
to start, but I told him to start like 48 hours just because of the
'Cause
decks.
the decks.
So anyway, that's a bummer.
That'll happen occasionally. Most of them go down and move on, and everything's good.
hers get worse and worse
Mhm.
but they're like intense.
Yeah.
Her tongue was it was back too. It wasn't just like
Yeah, it
tip
was
of
the right
tongue.
side. I think of her tongue was just bulged,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it was farther back. It wasn't like the tip of her tongue or anything.
She was
Poor
pulse
thing.
oxing okay.
Yeah, her
but
pulse
we had
ox was
oxygen on her.
great. She had flow bio too, but she was
Yeah.
pink. She didn't seem like she wasn't in respiratory distress, but just
No.
in case.
Poor little lady.
I
Yeah.
know.
She looked
cute
really
thing.
sad. Yeah, it was interesting. Okay.
Good cases.
Listener question. Okay, from Delaney. My name is Delaney, and I'm a first-year vet student at Mississippi State. Thank you, Dr. King, for coming to speak to us. I really enjoy the podcast and hearing all of your thoughts on the hot topics in the vet med field. My question is about the differences working in a corporate-owned versus a privately owned veterinary practice. At school, we have many companies come speak to us about the programs they offer for vet students, and they all sound very impressive. However, I've always heard somewhat negative things about working in corporate practices. In your experience, what is the differences and or pros and cons of each? From @Delaney. I've only worked in a corporate, so I don't have experience from when it was privately owned by the
Really?
companies. Yes, I started once.
Mm-hmm.
Corporate
I don't
taken
remember
over,
when it was sold, and
October 2021.
and I started.
Really?
Yeah, because I
3
started.
years.
3
yeah,
years.
I
yes.
started May
Oh,
of
wow.
22.
that's crazy.
October. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I
Almost like exactly 3 years.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is nuts. That doesn't seem real.
I would say so. Working in both, granted, it wasn't long periods of time in each. So 2 years privately owned, 3 years now corporate. There are differences
Mhm.
for sure, and I think the biggest comes down to, and you'll probably speak more on it, but the red tape to get access to either more equipment or funds to do things for the clinic. So that's more frustrating because it's more of like you ask and then wait. Whereas when it was privately owned, obviously you go straight to the source and it's either a yes or no right away. So there's that. And then communication I've found is a little more frustrating with the corporate world. And I think that just comes from the mass amount of people and chain of command and all of that stuff. So I'm grateful because when I joined, it was all set up still in a certain way where we don't have to rely on corporate as much. So I think that's also another point is like, don't be afraid if you end up going to private and then they sell, because if you're kind of set up how you want to be, you don't really need extra help or need the corporate to intervene too much. But the communication is still frustrating with the change of like you have your family here at the clinic, but you still have to answer to people that aren't in the clinic anymore.
They're
so
not
at the
family.
corporate level. Yeah. I mean,
They're
and it's just-
outsiders.
in a way. Yeah.
And they are.
They are. Like they don't know the day in, day out. They're not here. They pop in whenever. And they have all these other clinics to oversee. So then getting FaceTime with them is very difficult. And you have to have FaceTime, especially if how your contracts are to be renewed or you want to do something for CE, things like that. So I think there's differences. It's not like a make or break difference, obviously. It's still something you can work through and adjust with. But I would also encourage you to be very careful about like making sure it's a type of corporate philosophy that you like, because there's still, whether or not you're doing well in the clinic, you still have to kind of go by their rules in a way.
You have to answer to the man.
Yeah.
Well, Delaney, thanks for the comment. Mississippi State was awesome.
Yeah.
If I had known it was that cool, I might have gone there. I really liked it. I would say whether it's owned by an independent person or by a corporate, it doesn't, like, the clinic's either going to be good or it's going to be bad, like on a ground level. So like, just because it's a private owned clinic doesn't mean it's going to be good, or just because it's a corporate owned clinic doesn't mean it's going to be good. So it's really about the people. Just like a Walmart here in this town might be really great to transact in, and a Walmart over here really sucks, and they don't get anything done for you, and you try and return something, there's no one there to return it to or whatever. Like, so it's really about the people living within the walls of the practices. And so I think that's the first thing is when you're looking to go to a practice, much to Dr. Duckwall's point, I think you need to spend time there just being a fly on the wall. You know, one of the things I'd like to tell people to do is just go sit in the lobby and watch transactions occur. Most people are still transacting with a front desk, and I'd say if you can find a clinic that doesn't do that, that's step one. Yeah. Right. I mean,
true.
But make sure there's not phones in the front. If people have taken those types of steps, they are aware of the client experience, which means they're probably aware of the employee experience. So like, that's an easy thing. It could be like a litmus test. And then I would say this, like, be in the lobby and watch how the clients, what do they look like when they come in? Do they look like they're coming in like ready for a fight? Do they look like they're coming in happy? Or do they, I see. So you can really pick out the atmosphere without having to talk to anybody, by just being a fly on the wall. I think that the hourly staff are far better served working for a corporation. So I think that SVP is the corporation we work with. The hourly employees are far better off than when we owned the clinic. And that's because their pockets are much deeper. They have wider pools of people, so they're able to offer more benefits, insurance, higher hourly wages, 401ks, things like that we just didn't do, because when you own a business, you have to stay within a certain percentages, because how your company is valued, it depends on all these certain things. And so then that's hard, right? Because we don't have the same purchasing power as somebody like SVP who owns 300 hospitals. So all of those things make a difference. But at the end of the day, as a veterinarian, I think that it doesn't matter from the standpoint of, because you're going to work in the environment. So I think the environment itself is the most important thing. If you find a great environment and it's owned by a privately owned person, great, work there.
Yeah.
If it's owned by a corporation, great, work there.
Yeah.
You know, because the environment says everything about how people are interacting with one another outside of their walls. You know, so like the people in the corporate world, you're right, Duck. Well, I mean, like the hardest thing is not feeling like you can be nimble enough.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things we prided ourselves on was being, and one of our core values is timely. And so we pivot quickly. And so when you're having to ask permission, that gets harder. Now, I've learned I just don't ask as much permission anymore. You know what I mean? Because
Just do it and ask for forgiveness
well,
later.
and they don't really, like for our situation, again, to Dr. Duckwall's point, we already had things set up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
If you're doing it right,
right.
it's fine. Like
It's
they're going
fine.
to trust what you have to
Right.
do to get it done.
Unless
and
somebody's
At the
coming
end of
in
the
and
day, it
changing
comes down to
everything.
providing
Yep.
good services
Yep.
to make people happy. And so if you have to go get this $100 device, I'm sure in the grand $100, yeah, but in the grand scheme
Yes.
of things, they're going to be like, yeah, if you had to do that to get this done, okay, we
Then
can
do it.
We see your reasoning.
Yeah.
So
And I think if somebody's going to stand in how you care for a patient, then that's also like
Yeah.
I don't want to work there, you know,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. Like, so I think that's also really, really, really important.
I will
Um,
say too, I feel like corporate just has more networking opportunities or more of a broader reach. If like I know now that we're with SVP, we have direct oncologists or
Mhm.
internal medicine or things like that we can
Mhm.
consult with for stuff, which is much quicker. And it's not wrong, even when the privately owned, like that sector, we could still, you know, reach out to colleagues at different clinics, but it's a little bit more direct on getting more information a little bit faster. Or I think it was discussed like, you know, going to another SVP clinic that has like a board certified whatever to, I don't know, we're going to do that for dentistry or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like you can shadow them or
Do CE and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So like those opportunities are out there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, you're just dealing with a larger pool,
Mhm.
a number of people.
I guess I would
So-
challenge you to like if you're looking at clinics and interviewing, maybe don't ask if they're privately or corporate
Yep.
owned right away. Get your feel, get your actual like information
Mhm.
and get your own opinion first before you walk in and that's your first question.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you can tell based off of their signs and marketing, that is what it is. But I know when you walk into our clinic, you don't know that we're corporately owned. Like that was,
Mhm.
I think, a pretty intentional thing as well. So just challenge yourself and try to get information without knowing that first, and then you might surprise yourself.
I think the companies like Banfield and VCA, I
Sure.
mean, they ruined it for everyone in the
Yeah.
beginning. I think a lot of these younger companies have learned from all of those people's mistakes. And so they do a better job of trying to make it a win-win for everybody.
Mhm.
You know, they really do.
Yeah.
So
There's pros and cons to both.
Yep, absolutely.
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable. Remember, send in those questions and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode or a previous one. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable.
Thank you. Woo!